Public sector failure occurs when the state has not managed an economy properly, resulting in the inefficient use and allocation of resources. Subscribe now to Kano Academy. And let's explore public sector failure by asking what public sector failure is, including some of the reasons that lead to public sector failure, as well as the effects of public sector failure. We'll further discuss how the South African government can improve accountability of public sector officials. So, without wasting any more time, let's explain what public sector failure is. Public sector failure occurs when the government fails to manage the economy and the resources under its control optimally. Basically, this is when the state has not managed the economy properly, resulting in the inefficient use and allocation of resources. Due to the fact that the public sector assumes many roles within the economy, should they fail to deliver what is expected of them, this is regarded as an inefficiency and an ineffectiveness of the public sector to deliver on its mandate. Let's now discuss the inefficiency and the ineffectiveness of the public sector to deliver on its mandate. The public sector's ineffectiveness occurs when government policies have failed to accomplish their intended outcome. This ineffectiveness further occurs when the state would have researched, developed, and implemented policies, but the government is unable to reach the desired goal of the policy. The government is therefore regarded as being incapable and incompetent in achieving its desired outcomes. If a government consistently fails to achieve its objectives, such as controlling inflation or decreasing unemployment, then the public sector is not being effective in terms of achieving its objectives. The public sector will also be regarded as failing when it misses its own set targets, such as inflation targets, including its growth and employment rate targets, as well as its incompetence in using and harmonizing monetary and fiscal policies. Let's now discuss when public sector's inefficiencies occur. When the public sector is not efficient in their allocation and use of its resources, it will result in wastage. Such inefficiencies occur when the state has not used their allocated resources for optimum benefit to economic participants within the country. The state has therefore wasted its resources, such as taxpayers' money. These inefficiencies may occur in relation to protection and social, economic, and administrative services. For example, when textbooks do not arrive at schools, but have been paid for by government, it will be regarded as an inefficient allocation of state resources. Unlike the private sector, the state is not motivated to maximize their profitability. This could lead to wastage in the allocation and use of resources, as well as decreased productivity. There are many reasons for public sector failure. We'll now discuss some of these reasons. The first reason for public sector failure is poor management skills. Some public sector organizations may have leaders with poor management skills. Some of these managers may be lacking proper experience and training, while others may be having hidden agendas. This may affect how they apply various policies. Lack of motivation is also one of the reasons for public sector failure. Government employees often do not receive incentives for successful service delivery. There are also sometimes no systems to evaluate service quality provided by employees. Even those who do outstanding work are not recognized. Therefore, they end up being demotivated. Some government employees might be apathetic, which means that they might be uninterested or indifferent about their work. This then results in a lack of responsibility and accountability for their decisions and actions, ultimately leading to poor service delivery. Bureaucracy is also one of the reasons for public sector failure. Bureaucracy refers to excessively complex administrative procedure that are often followed in government sector. Bureaucrats, or government officials, are criticized for being too rigid and inefficient. A simple request ends up entangled in endless processes or paperwork that slows down an otherwise simple task. A project may sometimes go from one administrative level to another, taking very long period before an answer can be given. Politicians may also be the cause for public sector failure. Politicians are often interested in being re-elected to their positions rather than serving the public. Therefore, They often pursue vote-maximizing strategies to secure or retain their political offices. The pressure of a looming election often can make many politicians make decisions for the purposes of pleasing the voting public. Some projects can be undertaken, even if they were not budgeted for, or no proper cost-benefit analysis was conducted. Structural failures in the economy may also cause government not to reach its macroeconomic objectives. Another reason for public sector failure may come from special interest groups, or the so-called rent-seeking groups. Rent-seeking occurs when people spend money on lobbying in order to increase their wealth, without actually creating any more wealth. Special interest groups, such as farmers or organized labor, often attempt to influence government to their own advantage. They make use of the law, lobbying, bribes, and other favors to influence government officials to act in their interest. We'll now discuss some effects of public sector failure. The state is meant to ensure the optimal allocation and use of resources. When this does not happen, valuable resources are wasted. When the state fails to deliver goods and services, role players within the economy feel that their tax revenue is not being efficiently administered, leading to apathy and disgruntlement. Public sector failure also erodes stability within the economy, which will deter investors. Investment in a young democracy is critical to its growth. But mismanagement, corruption, nepotism, etc., will not inspire confidence in potential investors. The state makes use of a progressive rate of taxation in order to redistribute income and wealth. When it fails to redistribute such income effectively, it compromises the already marginalized part of the population even further by increasing the income gap. When the state does not deliver the necessary public goods and services, it causes extreme frustration and resentment amongst citizens. This can lead to civil unrest and violent protest action. So, how can the South African government improve accountability of public sector officials? The government can ensure that all public representatives are held accountable in the National Assembly during the parliamentary questioning. The National Treasury must also implement strict rules on how the public purse can be used. There must also be serious consequences for all those found by the Auditor General to have committed wasteful government spending. There must also be serious consequences, including jail time and blacklisting of all directors and employees responsible for corruption. The government must further consider giving incentives to all individuals that report any case of corruption. Lastly, Chapter 9 institutions, such as the Office of the Public Protector and the Auditor General, including the country's constitutional court, must also play their role in holding the executive accountable. In conclusion, public sector failure arises when government interventions do not achieve their intended outcomes, leading to the inefficiency and ineffectiveness of the public sector to deliver on its mandate. As discussed in the video, there are several factors that contribute to public sector failure. However, by addressing these issues, the government, including the South African government, can work towards a more efficient and accountable public sector, ultimately improving service delivery and public trust. We've come to the end of this video. Remember that you can always re-watch the video if you need more understanding on the topic. We hope we were able to provide more clarity on the topic. If we have, please leave us a comment below this video, because we'd love to hear from you and what you have learned from this video. You can also like this video to show your appreciation, and you can also share it on your social media or via WhatsApp. Until we meet again, happy learning. From all of us at Kano Academy.